small town girl living in a lonely world.
One band's biggest album came after their legendary singer died. Another finally hit #1 only when the wrong guy joined. The greatest metal voice ever got replaced, and the band sold more records. Here are 10 bands that replaced their singer and became legends. Number 10, AC/DC. Highway to Hell in 1979 finally broke AC/DC into the mainstream, reaching number 17 on the Billboard 200 and selling 15 million copies worldwide. Then, Bon Scott died in February 1980 from acute alcohol poisoning. The band nearly quit. Scott's own family told them to continue. And they auditioned a singer Scott himself had praised years earlier, Brian Johnson from the band Geordie. Back in Black became a phenomenon that redefined success. Over 50 million copies sold worldwide, the 6th best-selling album in U.S. history, the best-selling hard rock album ever. You Shook Me All Night Long, Hell's Bells, and the title track exceeded Highway to Hell sales by over 235%. For Those About to Rock became AC/DC's first #1 album. Brian Johnson's raspy scream matched the band's raw power while bringing melodic edge that radio embraced. Producer Mutt Lange's production reached new heights. Total career sales now exceed 200 million albums, virtually all with Johnson on vocals. The Guardian ranked this singer replacement as number 36 among the 50 key events in rock music history. The album, meant as a tribute to their fallen brother, made them immortal. Number 9, Van Halen.
Just plain, clean, simple.
David Lee Roth delivered iconic albums. The debut sold 11 million copies. 1984 matched that figure with Jump and Panama dominating MTV. Yet not a single Roth-era album reached #1 on the Billboard 200. The highest peak was number 2 with 1984. Eddie Van Halen met Sammy Hagar through their mutual car mechanic in 1985. Roth walked out and everything changed. 4 consecutive #1 albums followed: 5150 in 1986, OU 812 in 1988, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge in 1991, and Balance in 1995. Why Can't This Be Love, Dreams, and Right Now gave them 9 top 40 singles versus Roth's 7. Warner Brothers president Mo Austin heard Why Can't This Be Love and declared he smelled money. Hagar later said Eddie's musicianship blossomed because he finally had a singer who could handle complex vocal parts. The numbers tell an unambiguous story. Hagar achieved what Diamond Dave never could, putting Van Halen at the top of the charts. His technically superior voice allowed Eddie to explore musical territory Roth's limitations prevented. The debate rages on among fans, but 4 #1 albums speak louder than nostalgia. Number 8, Genesis.
How can you just walk away from me when all I can do is watch you leave?
Peter Gabriel's Genesis was critically adored but commercially limited. Selling England by the Pound in 1973, reached number 3 in the UK, but sold roughly 4.6 million copies.
Just as I thought it was going all right, I found out I'm wrong and I thought I was right.
0 U.S. top 40 singles, struggling for mainstream acceptance, progressive rock complexity keeping them cult favorites. Gabriel left in 1975, citing exhaustion and creative conflicts. The band auditioned over 400 vocalists before drummer Phil Collins reluctantly stepped up. Invisible Touch in 1986 sold over 13 million copies and achieved something historic. Genesis became the first band and first non-American act to have 5 consecutive top 5 singles from one album on the Billboard Hot 100, matching Michael Jackson's record.
You're the only one who really knew me at all.
The title track, Land of Confusion, Tonight, 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 Throwing It All Away, and Into Deep dominated radio. Invisible Touch became their only U.S. #1 single. We Can't Dance in 1991 sold 15 million copies, their biggest seller ever. Collins joked that he suggested doing it instrumentally and everybody told him to shut up. His pop instincts connected with mainstream audiences while retaining enough musicianship to satisfy prog fans. The Collins era generated 6 #1 UK albums compared to 0 during Gabriel years. Total sales exceed 100 million albums worldwide.
Living with you just to put me through it all of the time.
Number 7. Fleetwood Mac. They existed for 8 years before becoming the band everyone knows. Founder Peter Green had UK hits, including the #1 instrumental Albatross, but departed in 1970 due to mental health struggles. Bob Welch kept the band alive through lean years with Sentimental Lady and moderate album sales, 5 albums that never broke through in America. On New Year's Eve 1974, Mick Fleetwood called Lindsey Buckingham about joining. Buckingham agreed only if Stevie Nicks came too, a package deal. Rumors in 1977 remains one of the best-selling albums in history. Over 40 million copies sold worldwide, 21 times platinum in the US, #1 on the Billboard 200 for 31 weeks.
Who am I to keep you down, down?
Dreams, Go Your Own Way, Don't Stop, and You Make Loving Fun defined 1970s rock radio. The album won the Grammy for Album of the Year and ranks #7 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums list. Mick Fleetwood called Rumors the most important album they ever made because its success financed decades of future recordings.
Turn around, see me running.
Total Fleetwood Mac sales exceed 120 million records worldwide, with Rumors alone accounting for roughly a third of that figure. The turbulent personal relationships within the band, documented in real time on the album, created mythology that transcended the music. Buckingham and Nicks brought pop hooks, emotional depth, and California sound that connected with mainstream audiences. Number 6. Journey.
Just a small town girl living in a long.
Their first 3 albums were commercial disasters. The debut peaked at number 138 on the Billboard 200, Look Into the Future reached 100, Next hit 85. Columbia Records considered dropping the band and demanded they change their jazz fusion approach and add a proper frontman.
So now
Greg Rowley sang, but wasn't a charismatic lead vocalist. Steve Perry arrived in fall 1977 with what one writer called a ridiculously powerful and soulful voice. The results were immediate. Infinity, in 1978, reached number 21 and went triple platinum.
we sailed on together.
Escape in 1981 became Journey's only #1 album and was certified diamond, 10 million US copies, in 2021 on its 40th anniversary. Don't Stop Believin', Open Arms, and Faithfully became arena rock anthems. Open Arms spent 6 weeks at number 2. Don't Stop Believin' now has over 1 billion Spotify streams.
She took the midnight train going.
Without Perry, Journey's 7 post-1998 albums sold just 3.77 million copies, a 20-to-1 performance gap compared to the Perry era. His soaring tenor became the definitive arena rock voice of the 1980s. Journey's total sales approach 100 million albums globally, virtually all attributable to Perry-era material. Columbia Records nearly dropped them. Perry saved their careers. Before we continue with number 5, I want to hear from you. How many of these singer replacements did you know about, and which one surprised you the most? Drop a comment below and tell me where you're watching from. We have people tuning in from all over the world. Number 5, Iron Maiden.
How about those wasted years?
Paul Di'Anno gave Iron Maiden 2 respectable albums. The debut sold 6.3 million copies with Phantom of the Opera and Running Free, and Killers moved 5.7 million with the title track and Wrathchild. But Di'Anno's cocaine use and erratic behavior made touring impossible. He later admitted he didn't blame them for getting rid of him because he couldn't give 100% to Maiden anymore. The band needed someone who could match their relentless work ethic. Bruce Dickinson walked into his audition and reportedly declared he wanted the gig, and it was exactly what the band needed. The Number of the Beast in 1982 vindicated that confidence completely. 18.82 million copies sold, nearly 3 times Di'Anno's best effort.
The coast to go across the 7 seas.
Iron Maiden's first number 1 UK album and first US top 40 entry at number 33. The title track, Run to the Hills, and Hallowed Be Thy Name showcased his operatic range. Steve Harris acknowledged Bruce took them to a different level. The Dickinson era delivered 5 more UK number 1 albums, including Power Slave, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, and Fear of the Dark. Iron Maiden's total sales now exceed 200 million copies worldwide. His theatrical presence and tireless work ethic, he's also a commercial airline pilot and fencer, transformed a promising NWOBHM band into heavy metal's most enduring institution. Di'Anno was good. Dickinson made them legends. Number 4, Deep Purple. Most rock fans don't even know Rod Evans existed. Deep Purple's founding vocalist scored a US top 5 hit with Hush in 1968, reaching number 4 and giving them early commercial promise. But Ritchie Blackmore, John Rousseau, and Ian Pace decided his pop vocal style wouldn't suit their desired heavier direction. Evans was dismissed in July 1969, and Ian Gillan from Episode 6 fundamentally changed what Deep Purple could be. Machine Head in 1972 became the band's commercial peak. Number 1 in the UK, number 7 in the US, and 35.9 million equivalent album sales. Smoke on the Water became one of rock's most recognizable riffs and among the top 25 most successful songs of all time. Highway Star and Lazy showcased Gillan's screaming vocal style that defined emerging heavy metal. In 1973, Deep Purple was named Billboard's number 1 album artist of the year, with 11 simultaneous chart entries. The band eventually sold over 100 million records worldwide, with the vast majority coming from Gillan-era material. The Mark II lineup with Gillan, Blackmore, Lord, Glover, and Pace is universally regarded as Deep Purple's most commercially successful and critically acclaimed formation. Evans had a hit, Gillan had immortality. Hush got them started. Smoke on the Water made them eternal. Number 3, Anthrax. Anthrax's debut, Fistful of Metal, in 1984 with Neil Turbin showed promise, but gained minimal traction in the thrash scene. The band replaced him with Joey Belladonna later that year, and the transformation was dramatic. His melodic, soulful approach helped set the New York City-based outfit apart from the rest of the bands in their scene. While other thrash bands relied on aggression alone, Belladonna's versatility gave Anthrax crossover appeal without sacrificing heaviness. Every Joey Belladonna-era album went gold in the United States, spreading the disease in 1985, Among the Living in 1987 with Caught in a Mosh and I Am the Law, State of Euphoria in 1988, and Persistence of Time in 1990 featuring In My World. Total sales exceeded 8 million albums worldwide. Most importantly, Anthrax became recognized as one of thrash metal's Big Four, alongside Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer. That distinction would have seemed impossible during the Turban era. Belladonna's range allowed them to cover Joe Jackson's Got the Time and collaborate with Public Enemy on Bring the Noise, expanding thrash's boundaries. Turban fronted a struggling debut. Belladonna made them legends who could sell out arenas and stand alongside the genre's biggest names. The voice change elevated them from followers to leaders. Number 2. Judas Priest. Here's a twist. Judas Priest's original singer never made a commercial recording with the band. Al Atkins fronted the group from formation in 1969 until May 1973, when financial pressures forced him out. He was married with a child and couldn't survive without a record deal. Atkins later reflected he regretted leaving but was happy for them to eventually get that deal and climb the ladder to succeed. He said the band would have sounded more like AC/DC if he'd stayed, not the metal gods they became. Rob Halford joined immediately after in 1973, and every bit of Judas Priest's commercial success came with Halford at the microphone. Over 50 million albums sold, platinum certifications, hits like Breaking the Law, Living After Midnight, and You've Got Another Thing Comin' dominating rock radio. British Steel in 1980 and Screaming for Vengeance in 1982 defined the new wave of British heavy metal. His operatic range and leather and studs image defined not just the band, but the entire heavy metal genre. There was no Judas Priest commercial entity before Halford. Atkins wrote early songs including Victim of Changes, but never recorded them professionally. The metal god persona, the twin guitar attack, the visual aesthetic, everything that made Judas Priest into architects of heavy metal happened after Halford arrived. 0 commercial recordings to 50 million albums sold, the most complete transformation on this list. Number 1. Rainbow. This revelation will genuinely shock metal fans. Ronnie James Dio, arguably the greatest heavy metal vocalist ever, fronted Rainbow for their first 3 albums and created the band's most revered material.
The less that you give, you're a taker.
Rising in 1976 with Stargazer and A Light in the Black, Long Live Rock and Roll in 1978, these albums defined epic heavy metal. Yet Rainbow achieved their biggest commercial single success after Dio departed due to disagreements about the band's musical direction. Graham Bonnet replaced Dio and delivered Down to Earth in 1979, which spawned Since You've Been Gone and All Night Long, Rainbow's first major singles chart successes. Then Joe Lynn Turner arrived and things got even bigger commercially. I Surrender in 1981 hit number 3 in the UK, Rainbow's most successful UK single ever. Stone Cold and Street of Dreams achieved significant US airplay. Turner himself stated they played bigger places in the States, bigger than they ever played with Dio. Ritchie Blackmore wanted pop-oriented hard rock that could compete on radio. Dio resisted, Bonnet and Turner embraced it. The irony is delicious. The albums metal purists dismiss as sellout material actually represent Rainbow's commercial peak. Dio was objectively a more technically gifted vocalist than Joe Lynn Turner, but Turner gave Rainbow something Dio never could, a #3 UK single and genuine mainstream radio acceptance. The greatest voice doesn't always sell the most records.